I like it. The storm is passing over. If you think about this storm, we come in here, all that we had, earlier this week, and the storm was passed over, we said, hallelujah, we are song that. We sang that song. And then I listened to the deacon got up and prayed this morning. Because he brought the fire in the house. God came in then. So I'm not gonna let God go out on my part. So what we gonna do, we gonna get in this thing because it's already hot. And we remember, I just look, I thought about this one past over hallelujah this week, because we are blessed. No matter what you say, we are still blessed. Because God didn't have to do it. We are no better than some people that we're gonna talk about later. But you know, God is still good. And I heard Sister Tiller said the second Sunday in year. Who said that we was gonna be here last year this time? What crystal ball told you that you're gonna be here today? I don't have it. The only crystal ball I have is God. He already knew what was gonna happen. And then as I began to think about that and look at what we were last year, we were with David last year. You know, David said, in times of trouble. And then when we know what David said, and think about what we come into today, this person who wrote the song was not David. So David written 75 of the 150 songs. So this song was not written by David, but the man that written this song had the same thing that David had in mind, and he trusts the same person that David trusts. So when you begin to trust the same person that David trusts, the same person that this writer today trusts, and that same person brought us through that storm that passed over, when you put all your trust in him, you know what to do. Because he has the power to do everything. Now, as we begin to look at this lesson today, and we get into the lesson, it seems to be a short lesson. But when I continue reading and do my study, this is a big lesson. It seems short, but it has a lot of meaning in this lesson. And the first thing I see, it says, the majesty of a king reign. Now, you know, sometimes my wife I don't know who's trying to play me or what. So we were sitting there, she just kind of going out, you know, I don't understand what they did that majesty. Oh, no. She kind of, you know, picked my brain, see what I'm going to tell her. So I just played like that, I said, so you don't. And I smiled about it, she left me alone, because she knew I wasn't telling nothing. So when you remember what it says, I'm glad somebody not here, because she said, I'm always picking on her. But I can pick on her, nobody else. Just extend. Now, when you get to what it says, the majesty of your king being, the first thing when you say the word majesty, what is that word? That means power. When you look at that word, that's power. When we get to the power, it says power. And then it said a king, and then it said reign. The majesty of a king reign. So when I begin to look at that word majesty, and it says power, you know what comes to my mind when we talk about power? We have people that have power. The first time we have people that have power, we said the president's supposed to have power. Supposed to. That's the word I said. Other places, they have kings have power. They have queens that have power. You have people on your job, which is your boss, that have power. You know, listen to that. The majesty is a person that has power. You have your supervisors that have power. Some people think they have their husband that have power, but they are their king. But that's not what this is talking about. The majesty of a king. Then I kept on looking at this thing, and all these people got all that power they had. But I looked at a word in there, and it said a. That's what got me. The majesty of a king. Reign. So then as I look at reign, I look at majesty. What does it say? Reign means somebody that rules. Let's go back. When you go back and rule, what? Brother that's supposed to rule. Your supervisor's supposed to rule. You tell that everybody's supposed to rule. Sometimes your husband's supposed to rule. It said the majesty of a king reign. Okay, that's mean he reign. That's how power over somebody. All right, then I kept on reading about that thing, talking about somebody that reign, and all the people I named, they have somebody. Something. Why did I say they have somebody? Because God has all power. Everybody I named a while ago, they have some power. But when you get into this lesson, he is not talking about the some power person. He's talking about the person that has what? All power. David last week was talking about that same person, the one that has all power. When we get to the point that we begin to look at these kings, and then come to my mind, I know a person they call a king, and that king, he was king of rock and roll. What happened to that king? He died. All right. Then I thought about another king. I thought about a queen. I thought about the queen of soul. What happened to the queen of soul? So now look at that. You have king that what died. You have queen that died. But all of them was a majesty because they had what? Power. But they all died. Now, if I'm going to worship somebody like that, what did that tell me? You in bad shape. Because everybody I just mentioned, somewhere the king going to be dethroned. Somewhere the brother that's going to be not elected again. Somewhere your boss could get fired from his boss. Somewhere your supervisor could get fired. So your husband might leave you. So whatever happens, all that power that these people have has what? No power. But today, we talk about A. And what does that A mean? A single person. A. The maximum of a king that what? Ruled. This king, he rules of both heaven and he rules of what? Earth. Some of the people I named, they rule the little things down here. But they cannot rule anything up there. Because the king I just named right now, the one we talked about, since he ruled both heaven and earth, I think they told me that he hung the sun, he hung the moon, he put the stars in the sky. Now, who did that? This is God. And who is that? The king of what? King of kings. So if I'm talking about a king of kings, and that man I'm talking about is God, and he's the majestic, because that word said eight, that means that's singing him out for everybody else. Nobody has that power but who? God. Nobody has that power. Nobody can put you to sleep and wake you up for what? God. No matter what they give you, if it's not in God's plan, what's going to happen? Nothing going to happen. They give you all the medication they want. God said, stay awake, you're going to stay awake. What I like about this God that they're talking about, they have no power. Nobody has the power but what? God. The maximum power. And then when I kept on reading about that, talking about the maximum power, I looked at somebody else by the name of Isaiah. So Isaiah said, along with that, when you get to the Bible, that God have authority. He also have power. Those people have some authority, but the God we talking about has what? All authority. When you get to look at that, I said, now, that's the God we got to serve. And as we look at how this king reigned, he didn't reign from just today. He started way back. The Bible will tell us somewhere today about how long did he reign. So now, don't you want to serve a man like that? He don't reign just one day. He don't reign just 2 days. He reign what? Every day. And what that means, he rules. He rules of both heaven and the earth. And then I got to look at what happened this week. As we look at this in California, the weather out there, look what happened, how that fire. You know, when man come up these elements, what always happens? We always fail. We always lose. And who has that? That's the power of who? The power of God. Look out there. And I'm going to tell you something else. What I love about God's power, I was listening to a person on TV in California. Said the house, everything around them got destroyed. But there was one house in the midst of it. Did you see that? The person said in the midst of it. And what happened to that house? Nothing. Now, who tell me that God don't have what? And who tell me God don't what? Reign. Look what he did. Everything around those folks, front, back, side, and that man said, I don't give God some. Yeah, the same God. Don't tell me what God can do. And since I'm talking about how God reigned, last January, my wife and I went to Rolling Fork, and guess what happened? When the tornado came, I told the poor, it tore up every house. This house here, all down the street, it left my house. Right there. You know what happened to that house? just the Supreme Court. Everybody look around that house. So who can do that? Nobody but God. So what is that? He reigns and he also what? He rules. What did he rule? The heavens and he ruled the what? Only thing man have a little power is what he claimed right here. Just a little power. He has no power. That's when God said, you have no power. He takes that from you. So what is it? A king. I'm talking about a king that has what? All power. How do you know he has all power? Because he took nothing and made who? Something. So when I got on that, I started thinking about something. Since this king here, and we talking about the man king, I kind of like the old stuff. So I went back to some movies I watched, you know. When you watch the movie of Frankenstein, everybody watch Frankenstein. And always, Dr. Frankenstein gonna make him a man and put life in him. You know what I'm saying? But to catch a Dr. Frankenstein and put a life in a man, what does he have to have? Power, and that power is electricity. Every time he try to make this man, he got a shot. But the man I know, he took dust. Look at old dust. Look at us. Now you know what happens to dust. When the wind blows, what does dust do? Blow away. So what I'm saying, when the wind blows, do we blow away? We go nowhere. So what did God do? He took that dust and made us. While Frankenstein got to have something to make something, God took that from the dust. He put that dust together, and here we are right here, dust. Think about it. So who ruled? God ruled. God has the majestic, and God is the king. It said he's the king of all what? So there's none but God. So whatever you do and you think you do, God is over there. And this lesson today gonna tell us this man, he knew about where God was. And he knew who to call on in time of trouble. Last week, David knew who to call on in time of trouble. And what I like in beginning to this lesson here, I look at the word. It says, the reality of God being. Wait a minute. The reality of God being, what does that mean? That means, yes, my God is what? Real. When you say reality, that's right here. The reality of God reigns. What does that, you know? God reigns because he has what? All power, and is what? It's real. God is so real. I love that song. Yes, God is real. How is he real? He's real in mind. Somebody else know that song too. That's why I know that God is real. This God that we talk about, he rules. It says the reality of it. When you realize that the God rules, that this God is real, you know God is real because think about something he done for you. You know something he done for you. Could nobody do it but this real God? Could nobody do it but this real king that has all power? Could nobody do it but him? Then you realize that he reigns. And as we begin to look at his reign, the first thing we got to read is, what do we have?
Verse 1. The Lord reigneth. He is clothed with majesty. The Lord is clothed with strength, wherewith he hath girded himself. The world also established that it cannot be moved.
I like how he begins. Look what it says. He got a capital of what? L. He says who? The Lord. He takes no credit. He said the Lord reigneth. That means the Lord, he rules. Who rules? Not man. The Lord rules. It got a capital L saying the Lord rules, and then it says he's clothed with majesty. He clothed that majesty. What that mean? He is clothed. Now, when you put on clothes, that means that's something all over you. And he is clothed with that majesty. Means he is clothed with that strength. Look at him. Who had that strength? Nobody but God. And then he said he is clothed with that. That's all around him. He got all around. He got that strength with him. And then I kept on reading what I said. What with the girdle? Now, you know what a girdle do. A girdle is something that people put on. Okay. It says a girdle. Now, a girdle, that means it's all around him. He had that girdle. And what's that girdle? Strength. That's the strength. And where does strength come from? God. So this man here, he describing how the Lord is. Describing that the Lord is clothed. And he got his clothes all around him. Like, can you beat that when the Lord clothes all around him? Then it said it's established I like the word it said, and it cannot be moved. So as the Lord got his girdle around us, and it's established, that lets you know that God cannot be moved. So if God cannot be moved, who am I going to serve? Man or God? I'm going to serve God because it says what? He is established. He cannot be moved because he got the girdle around him. When he got that girdle around him, that's the same protection that he got around us. When you know you got God and you're protected by God, what more can you do? Nothing but do what? Serve him. You can't do nothing but serve because you know this man is good. You know this man is the king of all kings. Nobody mightier than God. No matter what you're going through, remember, he got his girdle all around. That means he has his strength. If God got strength, that's all you need. Because if he got this strength around him, he got that strength to protect you. And then it said it cannot be moved. I got it there. Then I thought about the power of God. Then I thought about the strength of God. It's what come on my mind. So this lesson, let me go back. You don't mind me going back. I went back to Genesis. And when I went back to Genesis, what I found, that man can't do this in. What I found is that all God did in Genesis 1 and 3. I believe this is what Genesis 1 and 3 says. It says, and God saved. Somebody know that. How many words is that? 3 words. And God saved. Now what's that? That's power and that's what? That's strength. Who else can say something? If I say something, what happened? Nothing. And God saved. Then I went back to something preached said, in the beginning was the what? Who was the word? God. And the word comes from God. Then it said, and God what? Said. It says, and God said, I had to keep on reading. It said, the next one I said, verse 3, and God said, let there be what? And what was that? What did he do? He spoke word. How many words did he speak? 3 words. What did he say? And God, I just stopped there. I kept on reading. So then I went to the next one. I went to verse 6. It said, and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the water. What is that? The firmament in the midst of the water. What he said? And God what? He didn't do anything but what? He spoke the word. And God said, but I didn't stop there. I went to the next one. Verse 9, and God said, let the water and the heaven be gathered together. What said? And what? God, what? How many words did he say? 3 words. And God said. What I'm telling you? I'm telling you about the power. I'm telling you about the spirit of who. And what did come from justice what? Justice word. If you say something, what happened? Nothing. But when God say something, all he got to say what? And God said. Then I went another. Verse 14 said, and God said, let there be light. And what do we have? You don't need to step outside. What is it outside? Light. And what? And God what? Said. But now here's the one we got. This is mine. Verse 26. And God said, let us make. Who did it? All he had to do was what? All he had to do was say it. He didn't do like Dr. Frankenstein. All God was do what? And God said, let there be what? And what was that? Don't tell me God ain't good. So what is that? That's the, my job to decide. That's the majesty. That's the power. And that's how he rules. All he got to do is just say the word. And what I like about it, he don't have to say much. I think it said, and God what? How many words? That's all he got to take. 3 words. I can say a whole lot of things to my wife. But God can say, and God what? He gets the message more than I do. He talk a whole lot. But all God got to do is say, and God, they right there. Really give me that next one. That's the thing I got too good to.
Verse 2. That throne is established of old. Thou art from everlasting.
Thy throne is established from old. This old means from the beginning. God's throne was established from the beginning. And not only was it established from the beginning, but when we jump over to the New Testament, I think the word said what? Everlasting. So what does that mean? There is no end. It started and it's never ending. But in order to be in that everlasting, you got to be, as Psalm said, you got to be right. In order to be in that everlasting, because God started it and God gonna end it this way, but His throne will never end. Everybody I talked about earlier, they only have a power that's gonna end somewhere. They either gonna get not elected or they gonna die. But this man, he has no end to his power. Now, who would serve a man like that? There's no end. Anything that you need, the song said, who? God got it. That's everlasting. That's no end to it. All you got to do is that believe and trust in who? God, that He can do what He said He do. This man today, he know God can do it. Last week, David, he knew God can do it. Now, do we know God can do it? You know what God can do. The storm passed all around Boston sometimes, and it hit other places. The storm passed sometimes down your street and missed somebody else's street. Who can do that? God. Can't nobody do that but God. Only God has that power to do that. So that's what you got to realize. When we realize that this man here already told us what God can do, we need to be able to do that. And follow that, that's a question. The question says, what ideals of reality challenge the truth of God's absolute reign of the world that He has firmly established? What are some realities that challenge that God is in power? What are some of the things that let you know God is in power? He woke you up this morning. Not only did He wake you up this morning, He woke you up the morning before. All right. Not only that, but He allowed you to come out to the house of the Lord one more time. That lets you know that God is still real and God has the power. God also lets you have a job. God also gives you your health and strength. The reality is that God is still real. The same God that was real back then is still real today. He hadn't changed. So what's the reality and the challenge that we face? We face that God is still real. We face to tell somebody God is still good. All you got to do is tell somebody God is still good. Then not only you have to tell them, sometimes they can just look at you and see that God is what? Good. You know, I kind of like St. Louis. St. Louis got a slogan said, show me. Show me. So if you're saying God is good, show me. How can you show me? Look at me. Just look how God got me. Let's show you how God is good. So what they tell you, that's reality right there. That's real right there. Think about where you come from. That same God let people know that God is what? Real. How you know He's real? Look at me. I came up just like you did. Look at me. Look at who? Look at you. Think about who? How good God is. Think about where you were. What's the reality? God is good. How you know? Look at you. How you know? He woke you up this morning. How you know? He gonna put you to sleep. How you know? Tomorrow, to live, He gonna keep you young. How you know? That let you know God is what? Real. And what is that? That's reality. I don't have to go back to what Moses done. All I do is look around what God is doing for you. How you know He's good? I was sick yesterday, but look at me today. Ain't God good? Let somebody know that. Somebody know they were sick. But what is the reality is that God is what? Real. And the reality is that God is still good. He challenged you. And then, I believe we get to the next one. It says, I kind of like this here, the security of God means. Now, when you think about the security of God means, and then I look at all three topics had the word reign. So if all three topics had the word reign, what does that mean? God rules. Reign means that God rules. He rules from the first beginning of this topic. He rules to the last part of this topic. God is in charge. Well, I said that. God is in charge of what? God is in charge of my life. He knew that. So that means if God is in charge, that means God's what? Rule. Man does not have no power. Who has the power? God has the power. If God has the power, God still rules. What does He rule? He rules above heaven, and He rules what? Who do that? God. God rule. I like that. All three were topics. Again, I had the word being there. So that lets you know he has the power to do exactly what he said. And knowing that, since you know that, and it said, the security of God, man. What does that tell me? If that's the security of God, man, that means that I got them. I got security of God, man. I know that I got protection. When you say security, that means what? So if I'm protected by God, what can man do? Nothing. I said, build a fence hoop. If he build that fence around me, and he got girdle around him, what does that girdle mean? What? Strength. If he got it all around him, and he protect me, what do I have to do? Stay with God. Stay into God's word. Because he is my protector. When it says God is my security. You know, some people look at different folks for the security. You might look at your husband for security, but sometimes your husband tries to let you down. You might look at your wife for security. Sometimes she may let you down. Sometimes you look at your job for security, and next thing you know, they got a letter on the door saying, got a pink slip. you know you got it ready. Then you walk in the office and they give you a pink slip. That's your security is what? Gone. Isn't that something? And then sometimes you don't even have to go. You hear about somebody say, you know, they got to put locks on the door. Your job is already gone. Miss Tracy. That sometimes the pink slip is time is part of the risk because God will move you. So you know, you get up today, go to sleep today, everything is going well. You go to the job tomorrow, a big headlight on the door. So what is it? Your security is gone. What do you do? Oh Lord, what am I going to do? I know what you're going to do. Trust in who? Because he is a what? King. He ruled. So if he gave you that job, Miss Tracy just said he got a better job for you. But what do? We got to trust him because what? The majesty rule. A king. Who is that a king? God. I didn't say king. I said what? A king. That's what this man talking about. A king. That one king. He does what? He ruled. And in doing that, I believe we begin with the first one. Read it. What it tells us.
Verse 3. The floods have lifted up. O Lord, the floods have lifted up their voice. The floods lift up their waves.
Go ahead.
Verse 4. The Lord on high is mightier than the noise of many waters, yea, than the mighty waters of the sea.
First thing it said, the flood has lifted up. That means the water has risen. And you know, when the water begins to rise, we have nothing we can do about it. But this man tells us, even when the water rises, the waves are strong, and who he talking about is stronger than that. He has more power and make more noise than the water. He higher than the waves. He got more strength than the waves. Have you noticed that water makes a lot of noise? When it rains, you get a lot of noise, and that rain comes down, this man tells us God makes more noise than that. He got more power than the rain. Then when you think about it, why does he have so much power? Because he created the rain. So that means he has the power there. All that noise you hear. I don't know when you see people surfing. You see them waves, they get some high waves. He tells us that this God got more power than that because he's in control of the wave. So, you know, who would serve a God like that? This is the God right here. The God we're talking about. I kind of liked it when I saw that God right there, that even the waves get high, but he's higher than the waves. The waves are strong, but he's stronger than the waves. Couldn't nobody do that, and nobody do that but God. And look what it said. He is mightier than that. And I looked at that thing, I thought about it. Because I remember we had somebody in our church. She told me she was on this boat. In a storm road. I'm not going to say it was. But she said that. She said, Miss Elgin, she took a cruise. She said she was in the middle of the ocean. And what happened? The storm rose. Now here you are in the middle of the ocean, and a storm rises. Now tell me what happened. When you in the middle of the ocean, the storm rises. Who do you call on? God. Look at it. You call on God. But what I like about it, knowing her, I think she had called God before she got there. So he already ready to prepare her. You know, that's the thing about that. Don't wait to get there. Call him before you get there. So when you get there and you get a little shaky, don't worry about it. Because you know who's in control. Who is in control? God. She didn't worry about that. She know God was in what? Control. What is that? The waves. Now you in the middle of the ocean, you don't see no side. You know you got to do what? You got to pray and you got to trust God. Because you out there. Out there that way. But that's what it said right here. No matter how high it got, all she had to do was trust in God. No matter what waves come in your life, no matter what water gets up in your life, all you got to do is what? Trust in God. And I believe you're going to have some water in your life. I believe you're going to have some waves in your life. And when you get to those waves, and you get to that water, you need to already have somebody waiting on you. He already got prepared. Don't wait, because he already there. And then when we get to that next one, what is that, Rita?
Verse 5. Thy testimonies are very sure. Holiness becometh thine house, O Lord, forever.
Look at that, thy testimony. Then I kind of went back there when I got there. I said, wait a minute. If we talk about thy testimony, and we talk about the ways, you know what came to my mind. I went back. And when I went back, I found 3 more words. Grace, mercy, and salvation. I thought about that. He give us grace, he give us mercy, and then we have salvation. I looked at 3 words there. We looked at the mighty ways, and I thought about those 3 words, and I thought about the testimony. So what came to my mind again, if those 3 words there, we say 3 words all the time. But does we mean what we say? What's the 3 words that we say? I love you. We say that, but do we mean it? When you say that, 3 words, you got to say it from the what? From the heart. When you say that from the heart, that you tell somebody, I love you, you got to mean what you say. I kind of like, thinking like every time you come out, you say, I love you. Now that tells me something. But then we have people that tell you, I love you. Then I go back to Missouri. Missouri said, if you love me, I got the 3 words. If you love me, show me something. Show love. That's if you love me. What is that? I love you. So St. Louis said, the show me state. So just don't tell me that you love me. You what? Show me that you love me. I can tell you I love you all day. But this is I want you to what? Show me. Show me. The show me state. I tell my wife that sometimes. But if I don't do it, and that's an action word, I need to do what? Show her that I love her. Everything go bad. I need to show her that. That's what love is all about. That's 3 words right there. Then it's a testimony. Now here's the testimony. I kind of like it. The testimony says 3 words. The ship was out. They was out on the ocean. Somebody know that? They were out on the ocean. He was down there sleeping. And he didn't say what. When they woke him up, he only said what? 3 words. What was the 3 words? Peace, be still. So you don't have to get out and say a lot of words. All he said was what? Peace, be still. 3 words. So we know 3 words have a lot of power. We use 3 words that have a lot of power. I love you. Christ used 3 words, has a lot of power. Peace, be still. So you don't have to tell a lot. You can say a little. It's a little packed up in something, and that means that's more than a lot. Lord have mercy. Look at that. Well, for Sunday school ready. Lord have mercy. When you do that, how many words is that? 3. Oh, we hooked on 3 today. We hooked on 3. It says, peace, be still. Lord have mercy. When I'm going through my problem, and I'm talking about I'm going through some problems, all I got to do is say what? Lord have mercy. When you get scared, all you got to do is say what? Lord, have mercy. Look at that. How many words is that? Everything we talk about today, 3 words. We said the word being, how many times was found today? 3. And what we talk about? 3. When it said, peace, be still. Lord, have mercy. And what? I love you. Then I want you what? Show me. Look at that. If you love me. I only said 3 words. I kind of like it. And here's the testimony. It says the testimonies are true. How do we know? Let me see. We know the testimony of truth. So when you go back, let's go back. I went back to the Red Sea. And what happened to the Red Sea? When they got ready to cross, what happened? He parted the Red Sea. But you know, I didn't stop there. I went on to Jordan. When Joshua got there, what happened to Jordan? He parted Jordan. Who did that? God, and those are some of the testimonies. Then I said, wait a minute, if he did all that, what else did he do? Well, I come above. I put my oath. Daniel got in the lion den. That's a testimony. What happened to Daniel? Nothing. Look at that. That's a testimony. What is that? Testimony. Oh, I don't know if things that happened. Testimony. And then I kept on reading a little bit. It said about the 3 Hebrew boys. What happened to them? They got in the fire first. What happened? Nothing. Because who had the power? The king said what? Throw him in. But what God said, nothing gonna happen. And then, you know, now this is what got me right here. I kept on reading and I jumped to old John, you know, and John said, oh, Father's power. What he told Jesus? He told Jesus he had the power to do what? To crucify him. But what Jesus said, you have no power. Only power you have is the power that mine. I didn't, that my Father gave you. So what he said, God had all power. He has all power. God is the only king. God is the king of all kings. Everybody else can be a pretender, but we talk about the real king, the king of kings. That's what I love about this lesson today. Let's talk about God. Those men we talk about know all about God. So when you know about God and that's your king, you have nothing to worry about. And then I believe we got the question says, what are some seeds of chaotic adversity challenge the faith community? And how does this song ensure that they can be overcome? What are some of the chaotic things? She read it this morning. What are we going through now? Chaos. Trouble. I heard something else. Racism. Discrimination. Social injustice. Jealousy. Those are some of the things that we're going into, which is jealousy. Those are some of the things that we're going through right now. But what is it? It says we are going through those things, and there's one person that had all power over all those things. So who should I trust? There you go. Who did they trust? Both men we talk about, they trust God. Who do you trust when things get in your way? God. Do you trust your money? No. Because one day they said, either you're going to leave the money or money going to leave you. So who do you trust? God. We said about your job. If they give you that pink slip, who do you trust? God. So when things get bad, after things get worse in your life, who do you turn to? David knows who to turn to. This man, the writer of this lesson, knows who to turn to. When he got in trouble, he turned to God. When we get in trouble, we turn to God. But what I love, before you get in trouble, you ought to also turn to who? God. Because we said last week, he is the trouble fixer. Whatever comes your way, God can fix it. So if you read this lesson, think about all lessons we talk about, God has all power. And then I'm going to leave you with this thing what I kind of like. Last year, we got 3 words. I think Ms. Rose gave us 3 words last year. And those 3 words, she said, the Lord is. How many words are that? The Lord is. That's 3. I'm trying to vote with that. The Lord is. I said the. So she told us that the Lord what is. Those are 3 words. So we've been dealing with them 3. So look what we got right there. That same thing today. 3 lessons. The Lord reigns. The Lord is majesty. The Lord is a king, and the Lord do what? He rules. When he reigns, which means he rules, that's all you need right there. And when we think about three, what comes to our mind? The Father, the Son, and what? So when you got that package, you don't need nobody else. All you need is have that package. What's the package? The Father, the Son, and the who? That's all I need. Nothing else do you need. When you got that, and then he decides he's gonna give you just a little more grace, and then he's gonna give you a little more mercy. That's all you need. That's all you need. So when you got all that there, and this lesson tells us that when you got all that grace and that mercy, and then what I like about it, in the end, he give you a little what? Salvation. Can't nobody do that but who? God. Who has that power? And I'm gonna say that. All right. So
Amen.